the purpose of us calling on this press conference today is to actually discuss the issue that has been brought to our attention, and we've done a bit of investigation, and this relates to the contract that is in the process of being awarded, the contract for the city's broadband, the broadband infrastructure that is in the process of being upgraded or being rolled out further than what is currently is the case. Now, one of the things that is of a great concern to us that is coming up is that what has happened a few years ago, which we informed you and the public of, is the issue of the illegality of contracts that the city keeps getting into. Now, this is one such case where the city is actually engaging in a process that National Treasury, the department, the provincial Treasury, and the Department of Telecommunications and Postal Services has also raised concerns into the legality of the contract that the city wants to go into.
To provide some context about this contract, it's for the implementation of the broadband initiative of the Mayor. This contract was given to us last week at a very late stage. It is a contract for 18 years. The total minimum guaranteed costs that the municipality will pay in terms of this contract is 4.65 billion rand over the period, which comprises two main components. The first is the build phase, which is about 3 years, and then the operate phase, which is the next 15 years. And the total, you will see from the letter from the Gauteng Treasury in their comments to the contract, they point out that the total development costs for this project will be paid off, the capital development costs will be paid off within the first 3 years. After that, the balance will be for the services that the operator will render the municipality. We are going to pay a guaranteed minimum of 273 million rand every year. That is more than Nkandla. So the residents and the ratepayers of the city will be funding one Nkandla every year for 15 years for a broadband service that has already been paid for completely within the next 3 years. This contract, from that perspective, makes absolutely no sense to the residents, and the advantage that they will obtain for this huge sum of money is marginal in economic sense. There are a number of problems with this contract. First of all, it falls under Section 33 of the MFMA, which requires that any contract that exceeds 3 years in duration must go through a public participation process. It must have the feasibility of the project placed before council. Council must consider the comments from stakeholders and the public, and then council must, after reasonable notice, get the opportunity to deal with the report. Now, we've not been given reasonable notice. This contract was given to us late last week, and it is a contract of enormous financial implications for the city, and we need time to properly consider it. In the little bit of time that we had, we investigated a number of issues, and we obtained copies of letters from National Treasury, from the Provincial Treasury, and from the Department of Telecommunications and Postal Services, all criticizing this contract as not being viable in the first place, not being affordable in the second place, not being on the city's capital program, which must be pre-approved by council before any project or any money may be spent on it. For instance, an amount of 50 million will simply be deducted from Metro Police's activities. In other words, that compromises the safety of the residents of the city. The important point, though, is that the method that has been followed by the mayor to gain approval of this contract is exactly the same that he did with the PU contract. a contract is tabled on very short notice. Claims are made in the report which is misleading and false, that comments have been obtained and that these comments have been properly responded and replied to. Just as in the PU contract, the actual comments are not placed before council, and that has to be done in terms of the law. Because we've learned from experience, we have called for this correspondence, and we have obtained this correspondence from National Treasury, from the Provincial Treasury, and from the Department of Telecommunications and Postal Services. And just as we had expected, we found exactly the same as we did in the PU contract. And that is that all these departments are warning the city manager and the mayor not to proceed with this contract because it is not feasible and financially acceptable.
Excuse me, gentlemen, there's just an email that came through from the city.
Yes.
They've withdrawn it from...
So they've seen, they've already seen our correspondence. They know that we are now in possession of all this information. So now they're already withdrawing. So I don't know who of you has already leaked the information from here.
It says here, however, due to delayed and ongoing engagements with stakeholders such as National Treasury, the item will have to be withdrawn from council agenda tomorrow.